This is a common sense take on Ilhan Omar, one of the notoriously famous politicians in America, if you would call her American, but I don't think she is American. She's kind of one of those oddballs that any common sense person, if they have common sense, take a look at her and be like, yo, what's up? But let's take a look with this Asmongo video for Ilhan Omar.
Other person should be deported.
By the way, I really do think she shouldn't be deported. She should just leave. Because like I haven't been following politics, but every time I hear anything from her, and this is not really like from Fox News or CNN, one of the major news outlet, it's just stuff that you see online. Like if you have a Samsung phone or Apple phone and you swipe to the left, they give you the news summary every day. And if you look at those news and then you go online for any news, she's always complaining about US. 100% of it, right? Like me as an immigrant who is American citizen, proud American citizen, I gotta say, like, I appreciate all the opportunities we have here in America. I mean, if you hate it this much, you shouldn't be here. You should leave because you have easy access, especially like if you're an immigrant. You have the perspective, you have the access to go to other countries. Not like people who are born and raised here, especially middle class, is really hard. Like for me, I'm fully assimilated into American culture, American society, right? It's really hard for me to move. My businesses, my families, my house is all here. You know, I literally is building the quote unquote American dream every little bit, right? At a time. And for her, it's like she hates everything about America. It feels like, well, if you hate it that much, a common sense take is just like, bro, leave. Save yourself from the suffering. You know, dude, save yourself from the suffering. The only reason why somebody hated and still doesn't leave, unless you have another plan, which is something that we should explore a lot deeper. That's number one. Number two, or maybe she doesn't really hate America. She's just faking it, you know? There's a saying in America and in English, fake it until you make it. I think that's pretty much her.
So is this yes, I assimilated all the way to Congress and this idiot tells me to go back to where I came from. Yeah, that's like saying that I assimilated inside of the 7-Eleven whenever I broke the window.
True.
Like, yeah, yeah, the raccoon assimilated into my house by, getting through the drywall and living in my attic. Yeah, okay.
You know, like, this is so true. You should just leave. Like, right now, there's a sentiment in America, like about 50% of younger kids, I would say, like, really hate America for some reason. Like, for some odd reason. The patriotism feel you get in US is so shallow. It's like weak, you know, almost. I think the government need to do something to bring back more patriotic values here. The school, especially the school, right? Younger kids need to play more like war movies or whatnot to show kids or show like movies from like the Independence Day, right? To show a lot more from the past, like how America was built, the Boston Tea Party, all the kind of great stuff from the past, American history, to build some more patriotic values. It just feels like the kids who hate America had no perspective, and their family probably also hate America. But it's kind of difficult for Americans who are born and raised here, because it's like in a way, it's one of those rebellious kids you have in your family. Like when they become teenager, they hate their parents type of deal, right? Like for some weird ass reason. I never hate my parents. I love my parents, despite something like you can find them nagging or whatnot, which every single kid find their parents, you know, naggy. But you still love your parents. I love my parents. I'm grateful for the best parents I can ever got, right? To give birth to me. And I just don't understand people who hate their parents, number one. But there are so many dysfunctional families everywhere, so I can understand that. But there are kids who hate America. The point I'm saying that is if you're born and raised here and they become rebellious kids, it's an internal issue. But if you are an immigrant like Ilhan Omar and you hate this country so much, I don't get why you're here. Just leave. Like kids who are born here hate this country. Okay, let the country deal with it internally. But you're not from here. Just get the fuck out of here, right? Like if you really hate it that much, and I'm saying this sincerely, not just say like, you know, oh, please deport her. I don't think, you know, there should be deportation because she's actually quote unquote American now, passport wise. But she should just leave. Like, bro, if you're hated this much, like put your money where your mouth is.
Okay, right. You haven't assimilated. Oh, here we go.
She hasn't.
Our president, the president of Somalia. Isn't it crazy that that this is an American representative, and she's talking about how her president is a foreign president? Isn't that insane?
aniga iyo madaxweynaha special relationship aan qabnaa
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what kind of
adeeraan
relationship?
kugu
Deport?
ahaa,
I know.
gabarteeyu idhahaa
That's crazy.
madaxweyne sidii
What the
qof
fuck is she
kastuu
even
yiri,
saying? Who
mininkaan
cares?
mininkaaga waaye ku soo dhawow Minneapolis aad iyo aad aan ugu faraxsannahay in maanta madaxweynaha
Yeah, this is not, bro. This type of language. I don't know if translation is correct, by the way, but this is weird. You know, you don't become American citizen and then still call your old president your current president. Doesn't make sense. That's number one. Number two, special relationship. What kind of like this is one of the worst. Weirdest thing. The common sense disobey any common sense logic. Why are you a U.S. sitting congresswoman, and you're representing another country's interest? Because when I look at this translation, it just feels like she's not speaking on behalf of U.S. She's speaking on behalf of Somali, right? Like, which is what and also, who are you in relationship with this president? Why is she calling you a girl and blah blah blah? Like, a politician would never do that to a random quote unquote peasant, right? The only reason that can be the case is there's some special interest in there. And I don't want to speculate, but obviously that's not good.
aad tahay
I'm not saying like, you know, whatever the relationship is behind the scene, you know, I'm not trying to speculate at all. It's not in our job to do so. But at least we can all agree from a common sense perspective, if the president calling you a girl and you're from a different country, there's a conflict of interest. And when there's a conflict of interest, you should have resigned. You shouldn't be in sitting congresswoman, right? You should not be a policymaker for another country while you're calling the president of a different country something really cringe, you know? It just doesn't make sense.
Isn't this crazy that Americans are putting up with this? It's really insane.
Soomaaliya
Democracy. American democracy.
Uh-huh.
dadka meeshaan wada
Somalia is our home. That's the problem.
joogoo dhan
It's
waa
home to all of the
gurigooda,
people
annaga ma
gathered here.
dareensan yihiin
We do not feel
in
that it's
ay
that
naga
far
tahay
from
meel
us.
naga fog.
I think that we should make sure that you're right.
Soomaaliya wadnaheenay ku nooshahay qalbigeenay ku jirtaa maalin kasta aan ka
We
fikirnaa
always think about
Soomaaliya.
Somalia.
Is making it sound like Minneapolis, Minnesota is like a colony of Somali. How this allowed in the U.S. is beyond me. Like this speaks to American generosity, which American people just don't care. It seems like, right? Apparently, nobody gives a fuck. If people give the fuck, any common sense would think this is extremely weird. You give this to any Chinese person, have them take a look, they will basically slap your ass, get the fuck out of here in China, right? Or go to Korea, or go to Japan, go to any country. They look at this, be like, yo, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, it will not happen. But I gotta say, Ilhan Omar is more patriotic to Somali. My point is she's speaking more patriotic value to the Somalians about Somali than Americans speak to America speak to Americans about America. U.S. need more politicians like Ilhan Omar who speaks good about America. If you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Like basically she's being extremely patriotic to Somali. And that's not good. If she is a U.S. congresswoman, that makes no sense. I think like the least that should happen to her is she should not be elected. But again, go back to my point. The common sense take on American politics, and this is not just my take, this speaks to a lot of the people I knew from China. America's politics is self-suicide. It's killing itself, right? Because American, in general, the American politics, not American people, but American politics, way too soft. The policy here is soft on crime, soft on like this type of non-common sense, anti-common sense bullshit, right? You have people who, you just don't understand why people is the least qualified, right? People here can take the highest office sometimes, right? Take the seat of the Congress and then decide the policies, which they have no idea of. It boggles your mind. But it's also the freedom of America, right? The American dream, I guess. So there's pros and cons of everything. When something is too free, you always have the downside of it, right? America's land of the free. And land of the free has the extreme pros, it also have the extreme cons. I guess this is one of those manifestations, right, of the symptoms. You can see.
Man,
Asmongold is pissed.
that's really great assimilation, isn't it? Would she get deported already?
laakiin hadda gabar Soomaaliyeedaan ahay.
I'm a
Aniga
Somali
Soomaaliyan
girl,
ku dhashay.
born in Somalia.
Somali citizenship
I do not need Somali citizenship. Well, wait a minute. You don't need Somali citizenship because Somaliland wants to extradite you and kill you for the sins of your father.
Wait, is that what happened to this girl? Like, I actually don't know. Let me look it up. So if I go to x.com and I just ask Grok, how did I don't know how to spell his name, Ilhan Omar, become U.S. citizen? Why did she come to U.S.? All right, let's look it up. Let's see if Grok has an answer. I actually don't know, right? This is actually a good question to ask. Hey, Omar, here we go. I mean, like, if you hate this country so much, you should not be here, right? Just go to the country that you actually like, because you can literally go to any country now with American passport. It doesn't make sense that she's still a sitting congresswoman, right? There's obviously any common sense with 2 brain cells know there's something going on behind the scene. There's some kind of, like, I wouldn't say fraud, but there is, right? But behind the scene. Ilhan Omar came to the United States as a child refugee fleeing the Somali civil war and became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2000 at age 17. So now it's 26 years later, so she's 43. Through the standard legal process for refugees. Why she came to U.S. Omar was born October 4, 1982, blah, 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 Somali. Her mother died when she was 2. She was raised by her father and grandfather. In 1991, when she was 8 years old, when a civil war erupted, armed gunmen attacked their compound, forcing the family to flee in widespread violence. They escaped Kenya and lived for about 4 years in refugee camp. In 1995, after vetting and resettlement process, U.S. granted her family asylum refugee status. They arrived in the United States in March 1995. The family first settled in Arlington, Virginia, then moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota, 1997. Her grandfather played a key role in choosing the U.S. He reportedly wanted to go there because the United States is where you can eventually become American. The family went through the former U.S. refugee resettlement program. Omar has described arriving with her very limited English and learning the language by watching TV. She has repeatedly called the U.S. a place that gave her and her family a second chance at life and safety. And yet, why do you hate so much then? Omar followed the standard legal pathway available to refugees. Arrival as a refugee, adjustment to permanent residency, naturalization. Okay, after 5 years. She became a natural U.S. citizen in 2000, age 17. Multiple reliable biographical sources, including blah, blah, blah. She has spoken publicly about attending naturalization ceremonies and welcoming new citizens, reflecting her own journey. No on a controversy. There have been political accusations and investigation regarding aspects of her personal life and marriages year after she became a citizen. These claims have not resulted in any successful legal challenges to her citizenship and entry as a refugee. Mainstream reporting official records treat her path as standard refugee to citizen story. In short, okay, all right, cool. So, does Omar love America? I don't know if this is the right question. It felt like it's one of those very stupid prompts. You shouldn't be asking this way. I felt like a 70-year-old man tried to, play with AI for the first time in his or her life. Literally, that's what I feel like at this moment. But it's fine. This video is targeted towards 20-year-olds. If you're watching this video, you're 21 years old. That's right. You just become legal to drink. That's right. You're welcome. Omar has repeatedly stated she loves America, is proud to be American. Oh, okay. Frame her criticism of certain policies a deeper form of patriotism aimed at making the country live up to its ideals. Her own statement, on Independence Day, Happy Independence Day, America. I'm proud to be American. To me, the real patriot are those who push their country to do better, live up to its ideals, because if you love America as a beacon of hope, you have to love liberty and justice for all. You know what? Let me ask. There was one thing that I was interested in, which is her net worth. What about Ilhan? What about her net worth? What is her net worth now comparing to before she joined Congress? Let's take a look. See if there is anything that we can find here, right? I actually don't know. Again, I didn't follow too much politics, but everything I can see online. But that can also be clipped out of context, right? This is why Grok is pretty cool. It gives you a lot of context. You can in a way, understand this, you know? Like somebody can love something and then they want this thing to turn into something that she portrays as, you know, what she desires. It's a deeper symptom of narcissism, right? But she can feel sincere about loving America, you know, appreciating America for giving her a second chance. And that's why she wants America to turn into a country of refugees and, you know, immigration or whatnot. Makes sense from her perspective. You can see that, right? In a way, it's kind of logical. It's psychological, and it's coming from her perspective. All right, here we go. Ilhan Omar's net worth, based on mandatory congressional financial disclosure, which is blah, 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 has been modest low for most of her time in office, with a recent controversy over a reported spike that was later dramatically revised downward. Okay. In 2018, her estimated net worth was around $45,000 negative. Oh my God. How? This is common for many entering Congress due to student loans, modest savings, or limited assets. She had worked as a policy fellow, organizer, state representative with relatively low earnings before federal office. Okay. Congressional salary, $174,000 a year. Immediately rich. Richer than, I would say, majority of Americans, right? Early disclosure showed modest finances, okay? 2023 disclosure, already household assets roughly 40 to 250. So after about 5 years, you know, she went from negative 45 to 200, you know, anywhere between 40 to 250, but I believe somewhere in between, right? So let's say 200 or like 150. And in 2024 disclosure reported massive jump to $6 million and $30 million. How? This stemmed primarily from her husband, Tim something businesses, a venture capital consulting firm, Rosley Capital, California Winery, blah, blah, blah. The filing listed full company values rather than ownership stake, which created a wide range and drew intense scrutiny and political attacks. Amended 2025-2026 disclosure, Omar's team blamed an accounting error, failing to account for liability debts and using full business valuations. Revised household assets dropped to $18,000 to $95,000. $80,000 to low positive five figures after adjustments. Damn. Her office has emphasized she's not a millionaire. Some income comes from book sales, her memoir, and spousal earnings. But disclosures showed limited personal wealth beyond salary and retirement accounts. You know, I can actually believe that because I don't see her flaunting her wealth that much, right? She's one of those person that actually doesn't flaunt wealth. Maybe this is related to like how just she lived her life in general, which is something that is totally believable. I can see that. But I can also believe that, you know, because we've seen enough politicians make, like, I would say billions. Well, I wouldn't say billion, hundreds of millions of dollars while they're in office. The very, 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 the shining apple on the hill is probably Nancy Pelosi, right? I think she's worth like a few $100 million from a $170,000 income. Bro, that shit need to stop. I think all of them need to have like a term, you know? Politician should not be a career. Something may turn into a law. I think Trump was talking about it when she was running for office. Bro, live up to your promises, okay? Do term limits. Like, you're going to get out of office this term anyways. Make it into law. Term limits for Congress. 2 terms maximum, just like the presidency. We do not want trolls and political hags, right, in the office. It's just crazy. People are supposed to be there to serve. The only people I think should be in the I would say government agencies forever are people who are in the service. You know, like the police, right? The fire department, whatnot. All those like essential services. You need people as experienced as possible. Politicians, you need a new blood. You need fresh new blood, younger generation who understand the current technology, whatever is new, whatever is the new generation is living day after day. You should not have older people who try to figure it out what we're going through. They clearly do not care about middle class. They clearly are not middle class anymore because they've been in the office for like 40, 50 years. You need one politician who actually, I don't think you just need one. One is not enough. One cannot do shit, actually. You need enough politicians who actually care about the working class. When I say working class, I mean people who pay taxes, right? It seems like nobody give a fuck. Middle class is most disgusting class in the entire world, not just America. I'm talking about American middle class, the most disgusting class in the entire world, right? And I'm one of them. Again, I said this many times. It's just like, what the hell? You get none of the benefits, 0 benefits. You pay the most. I wouldn't say most amount of taxes because top 1% pay the most. But we pay our taxes, and then any taxes is too much in my opinion. But we pay a lot of taxes, and you get 0 benefit. Zero benefit, right? Nothing. Nothing from the top, nothing from the bottom. You're just stuck in the middle. You're too rich to qualify for the poor benefits. You're too poor to enjoy anything good, right? Like you can never afford a first class tickets unless you save enough points for over many different years. You can only see other people take first class tickets and you're like, oh, dude, that's $20,000 a ticket from Europe to America. What the hell? How do you afford that? Doesn't matter. None of your business because you're poor. You're middle class, right? You can never afford that shit. Know your place. That's basically the the position middle class stuck in. Like you can not give a fuck about some decent food, sure, but anything that's actually give you comfort when you do long distance travel, yeah, sit in your poor ass economy class and just stay poor. That's literally the idea, and it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, right?
That's the reason why you don't need the citizenship, is because they would kill you. Because he genocided and killed a bunch of people over there. And then you moved to America and changed your name.
dhiigayga ay ku jirtaa.
It's in my blood.
Waana dad aan ku diin ahay.
The people I share my culture with.
Waa dad aan u danqado.
They are the people I have compassion for.
Marka aan dhagta u dhigayo ama aan raadinayo wixii Soomaaliya ka socdo iyo waxay ku hagaagi
inside of Somalia so that I can do something and fix it. You want to fix the problems in Somalia.
Somali jecel aan u qabo iyo Soomaaliya jecel aan u qabo.
Man.
And waxaan rajaynayaa hadda
I hope that we can get far as long as I am in Congress.
waxyaalo badan aan isla qabanno waan ogahay aniga mas'uul weyn inuu iga saaran yahay
waddanka aan ku dhashay You cannot get more. Is this legal? To say that as long as I'm in Congress, I'm going to fight for power for Somali. Like, is this legal to do? Like, it doesn't seem as legal to do. How is this continuously allowed? Like, I'm a naturalized American citizen, and I love this country. I want to say, right, I made a video, by the way, if you haven't watched that video, it's like if Common Sense Guy is the mayor of Austin, there are a few things I would do, which is to cancel tipping culture and then, eradicate a homeless issue in the most humane way possible, but eradicate it, completely get rid of the homeless issue. And also like build city night markets, make Austin weird. That's what I would do, for the working class, right? Because I think Austin is doing fantastic already, but there are a few things you can touch up on. My point is, as someone who loves America and is an American citizen, I can never truly become American because I wasn't born and raised here. Like, I just simply I can't get into the American football culture because in China, we don't even call it football. We call it like handball, right? No, there's no football in China. Like NFL is won by American every single year because there's only America who has NFL. Nobody else watches, like in China, because I grew up in a small village, you never heard of it until like before I came here. You've seen it on TV. Oh, okay, this is what it is. But you have no idea of what it is. Golf is like for the few Chinese guys who try to fake it until they become American type of shit. Like it's literally for the rich of the richest in China. Nobody played that shit in China. Like you have to be super duper rich, right? Because the common people have access to ping pong or whatever. It's just really hard to get access to really get ingrained and become, you want to get assimilated into American culture. And I think the biggest thing we we understand about American culture is the core value. Like I'm assimilated into the core value of American culture. But the general culture, right? The music, the sports, unless you're born here, you just don't have that, right? And then I would even agree if you're not naturalized citizen, if you're not a citizen, born or raised citizen, you should not be running for any public office. It should just be banned. You have to be a citizen here in order to say you truly lie your allegiance with America. I would actually support that, to be honest, even though I'm, an immigrant, I'm a naturalized citizen. But it makes sense because it's common sense. Like because this would happen in China. China would never let American to become, a sitting office person. It just wouldn't happen. Or neither would it happen in any other country in like Korea, Japan. Bro, it's stupidity, right? Nobody would do that. No, not a single country would do that except for America. But at the same time, this is also a reflection of American value. Only in America will this stuff happen. It will not happen anywhere else. It speaks to the generosity and also just the unintended consequences of too much freedom. It's one thing about being free. Another thing is, well, when you accept so much freedom, you're also going to accept the wildness, right? That comes with it. All this violence, all this people who should never have a gun, but have a gun in their hand and causing all the shootings in Chicago. All the stupid people who are running the Congress who are never qualified to run like a grocery store. And you get people like this, right? But I wouldn't say that. I think she's extremely intelligent, actually. To say that she's not intelligent is stupid. Like the same thing with a lot of politicians. I think there are a lot of criticism of saying other people who are, politicians you don't like or aren't intelligent. That's just, I would try to stay away from that kind of language. If they are not smart, if they're not high IQ, they would fail at even basic level of manipulation. The fact of the matter is they are sitting at the position they are. That means they have won. They're smart in some way. It's just like, it might be dangerous from some people's perspective. But she's a big fat dub for Somali, I would say. It's just a big fat L for Americans, right? Like in that aspect. But she's extremely intelligent. And that intelligence is scary. Because when someone who doesn't have Americans' best interests in mind is representing another country in American political system who is extremely intelligent, you can bet on the fact she's going to use every single loophole. Like when I say loophole, it's just like the law, because she understands them. She's going to use every single method that's available or instrument she has access to find value for Somali instead of American. This is literally, it's because it's common sense. If anyone in that position, they would do the same. Or I wouldn't say anyone. If people who have some common sense and they actually become American because they love American values, they would not do like stuff like this, right? Because if I would ever become a U.S. sitting office member in the future, I would fight for American value. But if I wouldn't, I simply wouldn't run for that office unless I have some personal gain to get from it, right? But if I really want to become a sitting office member, like a Congress member or whatnot, right? Like become a politician, your number one rule should be like, you should always only fight for American interests, because you're American politicians, not Somalian.
If it was up, let me finish it, right? Let me finish this.
Maraykanka laga doortay
I'm an American migrant
Kongresska Maraykanka ku jirto.
in the U.S. Congress, but I'm a Somali girl. A girl with your lineage, a girl with your language, a girl with your religion. That was taken as a young child from her country by her genocidal father, who was fleeing war crimes and conviction from being killed for killing a bunch of people in that country. Yes, that's correct.
Is that what happened?
That misses her country and wishes to live there. Oh,
hold on. Let me ask Grok, right? Because that's what I'm saying. Did her father commit war crimes and killed a bunch of people back in Somali? I mean, Asmon goes saying that, like he said it twice already. I need to check that. I don't know if that's true or not. No credible evidence shown that Ilhan Omar's father, Nur Omar Mohammed, personally committed war crimes or directly killed people. Back on her father, he was a colonel in the Somali National Army. Oh, so they have some background under dictator something, blah, 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 against Ethiopia, where he led a regime and then rose through the ranks. After the war, continued in the military until the regime collapsed in 1991 amid civil war. The family fled violence. Oh, the broader context, Siad's Bar's regime. Siad's Bar government was authoritarian and committed widespread human rights abuse, including repression of clans, the Isak genocide in northern Somalia involving mass killing, air bombing of civilians, and other atrocities estimated to have killed tens of thousands of people. Some sources say 200,000 people. The senior officer during the parts of this era, Nur Omar Mohammed, served in the military responsible for the atrocities. Okay. Well, there are lack of specific operations because those are obviously censored, But that, I mean, if you are a colonel at the time when this regime is in office, bro, like, yeah, I mean, that's I guess it makes sense, right? I guess where it's coming from. Summary: her father was a career officer in a brutal regime that did commit war crimes and kill many people. So there's no specific evidence whether her father did it or not. But one can guess, right? If you're not stupid, you can guess. However, there is no public evidence he personally ordered, participated in, or was accused of specific atrocities. Claims rely on inference from his positions rather than proof. These allegations often surface in partisan and clan-based political attacks against Ilhan Omar. Yeah. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Because whatever her father did is not really her. It's different. But speaking of specific policy perspective, though, this is not a good look. Someone who is representing American in Congress, who's only speaking for the interests of Somali.
Oh, look, the audio's breaking again. What a surprise. This is great.
Lila waxaan rajaynayaa aniga iyo
Oh, I can
ilmahayga
fix it by doing that.
in aan hadde ku barbaariyo iyagana ilmahooda ay ku barbaariyaan dhulkii aniga aan ku soo koray taasna haddii ay suurtagelayso waa hadda shaqo badan inaan wada qabannaa hadduu ilaahay yidhaahdo
There's a lot that we need to work together to make our land a more stable and prosperous place.
ay dareemi karaan oo ay arki karaan.
Our land. I'm sure she's talking about America, guys. I'm sure she means America. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. They will do what we want and nothing else. We Somalians must have confidence in ourselves. We live in the U.S., pay taxes in the U.S. Well, not really, though, right? Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters, the Indian Ocean, will not be stolen by Ethiopia. We have literally imported African blood feuds into America. Isn't that insane?
Damn, that's crazy.
Oh my God. Is this real? Yep. They need to play this more. They need to talk more about this. This person...
Bro, to say the American voting system doesn't have fraud is crazy to me. Are all Somalians in Minnesota are American? Naturalized American of some sort? I don't understand. This, I wish... other communities are this, I wish the Caucasian communities or the Asian communities are more united like the Somalians, if it's true. Because they clearly all turn out to vote for her and that's how she become the sitting congresswoman. That's crazy to me. That is so crazy. How you can publicly speak like this and gain American office. I want to argue one of the highest position in American office, right? Because Congress is so mayor, who cares about mayor? Right? Who the fuck cares about mayor? Congress? You're literally sitting in Capitol Hill deciding the law of the nation. All the cameras on you. When a least known congressperson or congresswoman speak, people hear them, Their news coverage for all of them. When mayor speak, who the fuck cares? In Austin, there's Round Rock, there's Lakeway, there are a bunch of suburbs. Go have their mayor speak. See who cares. You probably have the local news go cover some sort of it. Nobody give a fuck. Ask Austin's mayor to say something. Nobody cares. I think the level when people start to care is probably the governor. Even then, nobody cares, right? Probably only the high profile, the ones that with big states are actually charismatic. For example, the California governor, Texas governor, the Florida governor. I can name a few, right? Gavin Newsom, Greg Abbott, and then Ron DeSantis. Those governors people really care about. That's it. Even New York, maybe New York. You have few states, the governor that's high profile because obviously the state itself, and also just the way they do things that's a little bit more different. That's probably more popular. Other than that, who cares about governors? Congress, oh my goodness, Congress is a different level. I feel like Congress, you're not just you're talking to the world. You literally represent America on the world stage. They talk to world leaders about getting shit done. Oh, I can help you do this and that. If you do this and that for me, that type of deal. I feel Congress is such a high office in America. I think it is. Leave a comment down below. Let me know whether it actually is. But I think it is.
And so clearly and obviously not an American.
waa qof cadow sare
When a Somalian person becomes an
Dadkaasoo
enemy,
kaleetana
they're a serious one.
magaaladayna
There are
nool
people
yihiin.
like that living
Waan
in our
aragnaa
country.
anagu
In
dhan.
our country.
qaar waxaa jira
City.
aan dhahno qofkan wuu iska hadlaa
Some of us try to dismiss it, saying,
You
"Oh,
know,
that person
male.
talks too much. They don't
kanina
know
adeerkay
anything."
waaye bidiis waxa dhihin waxaa laga yaabaa ka fishaabyaalkeen waa taqaaniin dadkan ka hadlaayo
No, exactly what
Starbucks-kaa la
people I'm talking
fadhiisiinay,
about.
masaajidka
You
marmar
sat
inay
with them at
imaadaan laga
Starbucks.
yaabaa. xafladaha isla tagtiin waa taqaaniin dadkan ka hadlaa anigu guriyaan la deganahay Soomaali
this?
haddii aan nahay inta dadkaas
We will never gain power and move forward as Somalians as long as these people live among us. And we don't kick them out. And we don't kick them out. The same people, Somalians, we tried to defend, they're the ones who want to see us in jail and spread lies about us, making videos claiming that we said things we never said. So these are the same people. The people that they want to kick out of the country are the Somalians that they disagree with. Isn't that funny? It's kind of ironic. Is this the learning center guy?
Bro, I gotta say, she's more common sense than lots of American media, you know? Like, to be honest, like, see, now you have to put yourself in her shoes and think from her perspective. If I am an agent for Somalian interests, what would I do? Like, she's doing everything to protect Somalians' interests, right? Like, that's what she's doing. If that's her objective, everything what she's doing is making a lot of sense. This, if some is actually telling her community to get rid of the people who have a disagreement with them, actually makes a lot of common sense. It's exactly what you're supposed to do in a community when you have someone who disagree with you, who leak the community interest, who is basically against the community's interest. You literally just want them out. But in America, only in America, this a lot of times, especially I would say, in modern big cities, right? You can have disagreement and you'll be protected here. This is actually such a unique thing about America because this is not the same for any other country. If you live in, let's say, Middle East, right, and you have a value that's drastically different from, let's say, you go to Saudi Arabia and you believe in something that's completely different from the local government beliefs, I think it's gonna be difficult for you to assimilate into the local culture, right? It just is. You're probably not gonna be the most welcomed person, you know? You can be an ambassador, but that's very, very different. I'm talking about people who are sitting politicians of that country, you know? This person is literally, she wants anyone who doesn't want to protect Somalian interest in her community to be out of the community in America while she's supposed to represent an American interest. Interesting. You know, again, I would say it makes sense from her perspective as someone who's trying to protect Somalians' interest. I just don't think she need to be a congresswoman of American highest office, right? I just don't think so. Like, other than that, I think like she can do whatever she wants. It makes sense, you know, she want to have interest for Somali, but it would make more sense actually if she's currently a sitting officer in Somali instead of America, right? If she's like literally the president of Somali and she's saying stuff like this, bro, this actually make more sense. This is literally what a leader in Somali would do. But she's the leader of, you know, American office.
Guy next to you? No, but I'm sure he's in the crowd. We're doing our job, defending you, the Somalians, protecting this country, creating laws. Oh my God.
Damn.
Who work to block and undermine Somalians in a country from gaining power and having influence. There's one more. That's not what assimilated means. No, it's not. If it was up to me, and this is the guy...
I would argue that I never did care, but I'm Islamophobe. You're going to call us some name that we just don't want to get into that fight. You know what? I would argue that I never did care, but I'm done being careful, even the least bit careful.
This is the guy.
He's still pretty careful.
And
I would argue
I don't really care where you come from, but if you come to this great country,
I do.
You have to understand, you're coming here to be an American.
That's right. And they're not.
We celebrate everyone's culture. We're happy with that, as long as you are an American. Celebrate your culture. I don't care. Italian, Polish, Somali. Okay? But they don't assimilate. And if they don't assimilate, then they should go the hell back to where they came from.
Thank God.
Sorry, Ralph. I know this is a family show. I can't help myself today. Yeah.
Oh my God. We gotta have more of this. We gotta have way more of this. That's legal, reasonable immigration. Yeah, and
no, it's not about. I think the most important thing is why is she sitting in one of the highest offices in America, right? That's the main contention here, and that speaks again to the American freedom.
Also, like, there's another component that I think that the way that people talk about immigration is it's flawed. And I think that people talk about it inside of a frame of reference that's defined by people that want you to lose, because it's the implication and insinuation that immigration is a net positive and that you have to have immigration. Like there's some sort of obligation for you to have immigration. There's not. You have no obligation to do that. There's no reason to have that happen. Guy's a piece of shit. He co-wrote a bill that made it easier for them to send money out of the country for Somalia. Yeah, I'm sure he's not perfect either. I don't know, but I'm just glad to hear something that I agree with. I mean, that doesn't mean I co-sign everything this person's ever done or said.
You know what's interesting? Like, why isn't city run elections using electoral college? That's something I actually want to know. Like, let me just ask Grok, because like national elections we use electoral college, right? But what about city level? Why doesn't city level elections or state level elections use electoral college? Electoral college. Let's see what Grok says. Actually, like, I'm not sure. Electoral college is a system created specifically for electing the president of the United States. It's not used for city, state, congressional, or most other elections. Here's why. It's in the U.S. Constitution and limited to the presidency. Article 2, Section 1 and the 12th Amendment of the Constitution explicitly established electoral college only for choosing the president. The framers designed it as compromise in 1787. They distrusted direct popular vote, fear of mob rules on informed voters. Absolutely right. They wanted to balance the power between large and small states. They saw Congress as too partisan to choose the president directly. It gave state a role in selecting electors. Nothing in the Constitution extends the system to governors, mayors, senators, representatives, and state legislators and city councils. Senator and House members are elected by direct popular vote in their state. You know, that's the issue, right? Like, that's the issue. I think why not use it elsewhere, right? No constitutional basis. Electoral college was a specific bargain for the unique national executive role. Practical reason, simplicity. Direct vote works fine for a single state or single district race. An electoral college at a city or state level wouldn't add unnecessary complexity. Electors for mayor? Yeah, why not? I mean, a city is a complex organism. It's not like as simple as every single community is the same. It is absolutely not, right? It's absolutely not. I think by electoral college, it should be for a city level. It should be based on age or professions, you know, depends on how you want to structure this. And again, they shouldn't be long-term officers. They should serve the country, kind of like HOA. You get someone, they don't really own anything or whatever. Well, I would say HOA is a good example. HOA is kind of shit, to be honest. They should just be like people who actually represent like the community of that city, you know, like for different communities, so they all have a say. And right now, I don't feel like anyone has a say, right? Especially younger folks, they don't even vote. Like when I was younger, I couldn't even vote, to be honest. Like, you know, I was an international student, but younger, all my friends, not a single friend I knew when I was in college, and I have a bunch of them because we're quite social, not a single one of them voted. Nobody votes. Younger people just don't vote. I think the turnout rate is really low. Maybe recently has changed a little bit, but I think having people who represent the people who actually, like, from different age group, people who contribute towards society, or like paying taxes or whatnot, right? Like that kind of separation. Maybe that needed a little bit defined, like, you know, more detailed discussions and whatnot. But I think electoral college, like, is a smart way to make sure there's no mob rule. The same reason why when you elect the president, you're worried about mob rule, the majority rule, you know, uninformed voters. The same thing goes for a city, right? Or a state, or Congress elections or whatnot. Look at what happened. Look what is happening, right? Like, or you can just have electors based on the racial basis point, right? The racial quotas of each city. You know, how the racial maps are looking like, you know, have different representatives represent each race. That's, well, because America's such a melting pot, but I think that's kind of too simple. It's just an idea to throw out there, to be honest. I just don't know why electoral college is only used for you know, presidential elections, but you know, I guess this makes sense. For local office, direct vote better reflects immediate community will without intermediaries. I don't know. I think that, for example, I'm pretty sure middle class, if it's more safe for middle class, who are actually the backbone of the entire economy, like the entire Congress, Senate will look very different, right? The people who are actually working now, if there are more people representing the people who are working now, you know, who are contributing to society, who are the largest workforce now, it might have a very different look, you know. But obviously, that's a little bit biased too, right? Because you're saying that. But older people, also there are a lot of older people. I guess you can just have like decent amount of electors from older generation, working generation, and then very little for kids. But at least you give them some voice, right? But they don't pay taxes. Maybe for people who pay taxes, right? That's why I think like taxation is a good way to separate it. I just haven't thought about how you would use that as a metric. But let me know if you have a good suggestion, right? I just think electoral college is not a bad idea. If something that presidential election can use and have a results pretty fast, why not use it for the city or the state, right? Like, why not?
Dead, right? I mean, duh. So anyway, yeah, if it was up to me, people like her would be on a boat back to Somalia on the first day, right? You literally like go in the middle of the night, round them all up, put them on a boat, and send them all back. And that would be the end of it. I don't know why we're not doing that, honestly. I really don't. It's so annoying. That's kind. Yeah, just do it in midday. Well, I mean, do it at night. It's easier. It's harder for people to respond to it.
I think obviously as Mongol, you can tell that he's being sarcastic and trolling, right? And also he might be sincere, but if he is sincere, that's obviously and he frequently speaks from the most superficial level of his thoughts. Whatever's in his head, he just like flow through his mouth, which is reason why all his viewers like him. You know, he's authentic in that aspect. But obviously, it's too simplistic. You know, when you read on Grok how she came over here through the legitimate refugee program and all that kind of stuff, it's a more program issue, right? It's obviously you can't just send somebody who came here legally through a legal process back, but it's totally understandable why she shouldn't be taking an office in America, right? Like for Ilhan Omar, it makes no sense. Like she can be here as a refugee because she took the legal process, but the law is also written in a way where, you know, majority rules, right? That's why she's able to just, enough Somalians in Minnesota, Minneapolis apparently can vote, which I don't know how, but apparently they can. And because they can vote, so there you go. That's another interesting thing, right? If that's the difference between Chinese community and maybe any other community. Chinese people just don't give a fuck. I would say Chinese is probably one of the most quote unquote selfish community in a way. They just don't care. The collective good, don't care. Like if you look at California, if the Chinese immigrant, the Chinese Americans actually can vote, you probably would have a Chinese mayor by now. Look, governor, right? Or more Chinese Congress people. Look, how many Chinese are in LA by percentage? You probably have a Chinese mayor, to be honest. I think it's a decent amount. I don't know the exact percentage. Here we go. By the latest census, Chinese population 2.6%. Oh, it's not that much. Overall Asian population 12%. It's actually not that much. Los Angeles County, city proper, Chinese population 5.3 is a little bit higher. Overall Asian population 15 to 16%. So it's tiny, but key context. Chinese is the largest specific Asian subgroup in LA County, followed by Filipinos, Koreans. The highest concentration are in the San Gabriel Valley suburbs. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Monterey Park, 44% Chinese. This is what I'm talking about. My friend lived there. Like when I went to LA, and I was playing in an esports org, and I had some, obviously when you look at esports, a bunch of Asian Chinese, right? And then they live in Monterey Park. They all Americans. They American passport, all that kind of good stuff. They don't vote. Not a single person vote. Not a single person pair. They just don't vote. Alhambra, 38%. Yeah, there are a lot of communities with insane amount of Chinese concentration, but they don't vote. It's interesting. Interesting.
Why pay for a boat? Let them swim. Well, I'm a nice guy. I say send them back.
But okay, how much Somalians are in Minnesota? What about Somali population in Minnesota? I didn't type Minnesota correctly. It's obviously a typo, but who cares? I do actually. It's spelled as Minnesota. Okay. Minnesota, Minnesota. It has a large Somali population. Total Somali descent population in Minnesota, approximately 80 to 108,000. Percentage of Minneapolis population is 1.42%. Bro, you have 1.42% of the people, and then you have Ilhan Omar as a senator, or as a congresswoman. You have 2.6% in LA. What about Chinese in California? Let's see, total statewide population of Chinese in California. We just checked LA, right? What about total statewide? Statewide, 5%. That's huge. It's literally more than double, 2.5% of the Somali in Minnesota. Yeah. And this never happens, right? Because Chinese people don't vote, right? Literally don't vote. And why do this 1.42% of Somalian decide who is a senator, who is a congresswoman in Minnesota? That's crazy. 70, 80, 80% live in Twin City Metro. So how did Ilhan Omar win her congressional seat? Let's ask Grok. Do a little bit of research, do a little bit of study, understand a little bit of background. Omar won her congressional seats in Minnesota 5th District through a strong performance in 2018 Democratic primary, followed by an easy general election win. Easy. Back when Omar was a Minnesota state representative, she ran for Congress after longtime incumbent Keith Ellison decided to run for Minnesota Attorney General instead. Oh, okay. Democratic primary. This was decisive race on the most Democratic district in the country. Oh, okay. Omar won with a 48.2% in a crowded field of several candidates. She received DFL party endorsement after multiple rounds of voting at the convention. Strong grassroots support in Minneapolis, especially among progressive Somalian Americans, Muslims, and young voters. Oh, okay. Also, Muslims turn out to vote for her. Makes sense. So on a religious basis, right? General election, she defeated Republican Jennifer Zelensky. That sounds like a very, very, very popular politician. You tell me. With 78% of the vote, bro, that state is fully dominated, by one party. This made her the first Somali American, first African refugee, and one of the first 2 Muslim women elected to Congress, along with Rashida Tlaib. Damn. Won primary comfortably, then general was 64%, 2022. Narrow primary win against challenger Dunn, 48%, then general was 74%. So if she wins the primary, she will win the general election. So Minnesota, it's just always going to be one party rule. It's never going to be a swing, right? 2024, stronger primary win against Samuels. 74% against Republican Dahlia. Yeah, you shouldn't even, if you're a Republican living in Minnesota, just forget about it, right? It's doomed. It's over. It's over for you, for sure. I mean, you already seen the results.
That's it. And why is Trump allowing this? Because there are not enough people like me that are willing to accept what the other solutions are. That's the reason why. It's very annoying. She closed the replies. Of course she did. Because I think these people realize that their days are numbered, living in America, hating America, subverting America, taking advantage of America. And I think that more and more Americans are waking up, and Europeans too are waking up. And I mean, this goes as far as Japanese as well. Canadians, Australians, I think at different levels. People are waking up to this, and they're seeing that actually, no, these people don't assimilate. And what are the probabilities that these people that come from these problem countries are a problem anywhere they go? Like, where are the highest crimes of these people? Like, in a lot of these countries, the same countries with the same migrants have the same problems everywhere, whether it's France, whether it's Japan, whether it's San Francisco. It's the same people causing the same problems. That's it. If you let them stay, they'll just bide their time until they see another chance to behave like this. They need to go. I think
It's
so
true.
too. They have no country to flee to. They've been banned from every country because of their behavior and culture. Well, that sounds like a personal problem to me.
You know, like one race that's immigrated into America recently in a large amount is probably Indian. And the Indian community they're probably one of the least troublesome, the trouble-free, probably one of the highest trouble-free community, right? Like everyone who come here just want a better life. They work hard and they came here legally through the, available H-1B system, which is arguably broken at this point, right? And being abused, people say, but it doesn't matter. They came here legally. And the point is, they're all high earning jobs. Every single one of them. If you go around Austin suburbs and you go to because me and my wife like to walk and travel a lot. You go to the suburb and you look at the richest, the most beautiful houses. Frequently, all Indians. Right now, new construction homes, the high-end construction homes, you go to those communities because those homes you really built in a really good school district, right? Round Rock ISD, whatever ISD, Lakeway ISD. You go to different high-level ISDs, right? Like highly rated, Indian dominated, like new constructions. It just, the community value education, family values, conservatism in terms of physical value, right? Like how they deal with their money or whatnot, all Indians. And you can say they're genuine bias towards the community because that's the sentiment we get online. But the community is actually cause the least trouble. They're just hardworking people that get migrated to America. And what happened is, recently I seen some news about Japanese people repelling Indian migration because Japan is similar to Korea. It's on the verge of population collapse. And then the government was saying they want to immigrate like 300,000 Indian people to solve the population collapse, the job deficiency, labor deficiency, all that kind of stuff. And also there just isn't many countries that's still exporting people. Like China is also having the same problem, the population decline. China actually probably will import Indians soon, to be honest. But everywhere in the world are importing Indians. It's like this countries have so many. It's similar to China, where people were saying China was like everything made in China. No, China has long gone from the position of the factory of the world. It's not, even though it still is, but that's not the aim. Actually, Steve Jobs Tim Cooks, the CEO of Apple, said it really perfectly. China is the factory of talent. Like literally large scale output of high intelligent people. And you can argue the same about India. Like literally all the movies, Bollywood movies, movies that you watch, they're all valuing education. They all want the kids to go to like the Indian version of MIT. They want their kids to study engineering, science, become a doctor. Like you go to a local dentist shop, bro. You go to Austin, any local dentist shop, you're just gonna see Indian doctors. You go to like traditional, like I went to see some brain. I forgot what the doctor was called. I was trying to look at the brain grafts, and one time I was taking a scan. Indian doctors. I wanted to see my dentist. Indian doctors. There was one time I was seeing like one of some, I forgot which one it was. It was for my stomach pain. Like when I was seeing the SIBO. Indian doctors, all in Austin, right? Like highest paying level profession, in Austin. So they're probably like the highest earning minorities in the United States right now, and they're actually taking some like unnecessary blame, but they're making a lot of money here.
Yeah, that sucks.
And you don't see Asmongold talking about Indian community in the same way that about Somalian, right? That's my point. Where there's certain minority just doesn't cause trouble, and certain minority does. I don't know why that's the case, but we're all immigrants in a way.
Damn, that's too bad. Please watch Tyler's Ireland video today. I might. I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't seen a lot of these because they're dumb. Yeah, I guess so. And Uwe Boll is teasing a new movie. I guess so. I haven't seen it. Every year they have more babies. Yeah, I mean, they have more kids, and that's more people that you're going to have to deport. And then it becomes more annoying. It's logistically more complex. And so the sooner that you do it, the better you do it, right?
And by the way, we just had a new video coming out. She sells her body just for drugs. Make sure you go watch it. But yeah, so this is the video on Ilhan Omar. I gotta say, like, this lady is extremely intelligent, high IQ, and she's making tremendous amount of success in America. The only thing that's odd is she's obviously not like not obviously, but I would say from all the stuff I've seen, doesn't matter what news sources is from, it's always shit talking America, right? She's always shit talking the American like leaders, American president, always shit talking the American system every single way possible. So like that's the weird part, right? And also like all the speech is saying like she's clearly standing up for Somali while in America, taking office in America. I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know if this loopholes, this bug's ever going to be patched where like you're only going to have an American natural-born citizen to run for public office. I don't know. I don't know if that's something the American will ever approve, but a common sense perspective, common sense person would actually pass that because it is common sense. If you want someone to truly have the local interest in heart, that person should be born and raised in America. You know, like that, it makes sense, right? Otherwise, you just never know. It's not about whether a person actually is sincere about American value. It's more, can you sleep at night knowing that's what's going to happen? But same can be said of some, like, you know, a lot of Americans I know just want to make money. If somebody is giving them a lot of money, I'm sure they're going to sell all the information they know to that interest, the versatile interest, to get the money, right? You can easily be said about a lot of the Americans here. So it's just like you never know, I guess. It's just more of a guess. But the sentiment that I mostly got from online, from and I wouldn't say biased news resources, any news resource that we can see, it's usually just her shit talking the country. You know, like that's the sentiment. If somebody loves the country, you get that news of them loving the country, right? But we mostly get her shit talking the country. Maybe we'll see some more news of her actually liking the country that will change it. Maybe I need to follow her on Twitter. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts is the common sense take on Ilhan Omar, and I'll see you guys next time.